The blackness of space above Earth was no longer peaceful. It burned with light and death. Alien warships, sharp, dark, and glowing with red energy, moved across the stars like predators. Their name was feared across hundreds of worlds. They were called the Zerath. And now, they were here. Above humanity's homeworld, the human defense fleet was already in trouble. Ships were broken, scattered, and burning. Wreckage floated like silent graves in the void. Explosions flashed like dying stars, each one marking the loss of another brave crew. In the control room of Earth Command, Admiral Carter stood over the main holo display. His jaw was tight, and his eyes never left the red symbols marking enemy ships. "We're losing sectors 4 through 7, an officer said in a shaking voice. "Our left flank is collapsing." Carter gave the only order left to give. Hold. Hold the line at all costs. But deep inside, he knew they couldn't. The Zerath were faster. Their weapons cut through human shields as if they were paper. Humanity's most advanced cruisers were falling one by one. The alien fleet was pressing forward, heading straight for Earth. Then, without warning, something strange happened. Every radar system, every scanner, every sensor spiked at once. A massive reading appeared on all displays right at the edge of the battle. At first, no one knew what it was. There was no ship registered in that location, no station, nothing. Yet the signal was huge, too big for a single vessel. "Admiral, we have a—" The officer froze, eyes wide. "We have a decloaking event." The image appeared on the holo display. From the darkness of space, the stars themselves seemed to bend and twist. Light rippled, like heat waves rising from desert. Sand, and then something emerged. A ship. But no one in the human fleet, or the Zerath, had ever seen anything like it. It was massive, longer than any human battleship, yet shaped in a way no modern design could match. Its hull was black, but not a dead black. It shimmered faintly, as if absorbing light. Strange symbols, glowing faint gold, were etched into its surface. No registry number. No markings of any known faction. Silence fell in the Earth command room. Even the officers who had been shouting orders stopped speaking. "What is that?" whispered one. The ship hung there in space, motionless, watching the battle. Both human and Zerath fleets hesitated, neither willing to make the first move. Then, without warning, the unknown ship moved. It didn't turn slowly like human ships. It shifted instantly, like it ignored the laws of inertia. Its main weapons lit up, pure white energy gathering along its sides, and it fired. The beam tore through the nearest Zerath destroyer in one shot. The alien vessel didn't even have time to raise shields before it was ripped apart in a burst of light. Gasps filled Earth Command. "It's attacking the Zerath," someone shouted. But the strange warship didn't stop. It fired again, and another alien ship died. Then another. The beams it used weren't like anything humans had seen before. They didn't explode in fire. They simply erased the target, as if cutting through existence itself. The Zerath tried to fight back. Energy blasts, plasma torpedoes, and kinetic rounds all slammed into the mysterious ship, but none of them did anything. The shots vanished against its hull like pebbles hitting a steel wall. "Who are they?" Admiral Carter asked aloud, though no one had an answer. "Where did they come from?" The human crews in orbit watched in awe. Many thought it was a trick, maybe a new secret weapon from Earth. Others feared it might be a trap, that the ship would turn on them once it was done with the Zerath. But for now, it was fighting for them. In less than 5 minutes, the unknown ship had destroyed 7 Zerath warships. The alien fleet began to pull back, breaking formation. This was not in their battle plan. They had come to crush humanity, not face a ghost from the stars. The Zerath commander sent a retreat order, and just like that, the battle was over. Human crews cheered over the comm channels. Some were crying. Others were simply too stunned to speak. But then, the strangest thing happened. The mysterious warship didn't stay to talk. Without sending a single signal, without responding to any of the dozens of hails from Earth Command, it simply turned. Its engines flared with a light humans had never seen before, a deep, blue-gold glow that seemed alive. And then, it vanished into the void, faster than any drive humanity possessed. It left no trace, no warp signature, no trail, only silence. In the days that followed, the mysterious warship became the center of every conversation on Earth and across human colonies. News broadcasts replayed the moment it decloaked over and over. Conspiracy forums exploded with theories. Was it alien? Was it human? Was it even real? In secret, Earth Command tried to track it. Long-range sensors scanned deep space for the strange energy signature it had left behind during battle. They found nothing. But Admiral Carter couldn't shake the feeling that it was still out there, watching, waiting, and somewhere, far from Earth, deep in the blackness between the stars, the mysterious warship floated in silence. Its hull glimmered faintly in the starlight. Inside, hidden behind layers of technology humanity couldn't imagine, figures stood at a viewing window. Their forms were shrouded in shadow, their faces unreadable. One of them spoke in a language that had not been heard in the galaxy for millions of years. "It has begun again," they said. "Prepare the next move." The ship's engines flared once more, and it slipped into darkness. The battle over Earth had ended, but the questions had only just begun. The mysterious warship had appeared, destroyed the Zirath fleet with terrifying precision, and then vanished without a word. No one knew where it had gone. No one knew why. It had helped. In the command chamber of Earth's orbital defense station, Admiral Carter stood in front of a massive display. The hollow projection replayed the moment the unknown vessel decloaked. The black, shimmering hull, the strange, golden markings, the instant, impossible movement. Every time he watched it, the same cold feeling returned. "That thing," he muttered, "is either our savior or our doom." Around him, officers were arguing. "It's human tech, sir. It has to be. Maybe from a secret black project." "No, it's alien. Nothing we have can move like that. It didn't even follow the laws of physics." "What if it's both?" someone suggested. "Maybe we reverse-engineered it from something we found." The speculation was endless. But there were no answers. Far from Earth in the cold emptiness of deep space, the warship drifted in silence. The crew moved like shadows through long metallic corridors. The bridge was unlike anything in human ships. Dark, with walls covered in living metal that pulsed faintly, as if breathing. At the center of the bridge, a tall figure stood, its face hidden by a smooth silver mask. "Status," it said in a deep, steady voice. A smaller figure approached. "The enemy identified as Zirath. This battle confirms. They have returned." The tall figure did not move. "And the humans?" "They fought hard, but they would have fallen. Without us, Earth would be ash." There was a pause, heavy with unspoken meaning. "Then they must be ready," the tall figure said. "Soon." On Earth, life tried to return to normal. But the victory felt strange. People celebrated, yes, but they also whispered. There was unease in the air, as if everyone sensed the danger wasn't over. Military intelligence worked day and night to find the warship. They searched for energy spikes, gravitational anomalies, anything that matched its strange drive signature. Days passed. Nothing. Then, on the 5th day after the battle, the alarms rang again. A colony on the edge of human space, New Horizon, was under attack. The Zirath had returned, striking fast and hard before the colony's defense fleet could organize. The distress signal was brief. "Under fire! Multiple enemy ships need It cut off in static. Earth Command launched an emergency task force to respond. 4 cruisers and 6 escort ships jumped to New Horizon, but even before they arrived, they could see the burning wreckage in orbit. The Zerath fleet was still there, finishing the kill. Enemy count: 8 destroyers, 2 battlecruisers, reported Commander Hayes, captain of the lead cruiser Resolute. We're outnumbered. Shields up, weapons ready. The human fleet charged in, knowing they had little chance. Energy blasts lit the void. Human shields flared and cracked under the assault. The Resolute took a direct hit to its starboard wing, alarms screaming through the ship. "We can't hold," Hayes shouted. "All ships, scatter!" But before the order could be carried out, space shimmered. It was happening again. From nowhere, the mysterious warship appeared. One moment, nothing. The next, a massive black shape filling the darkness. Its golden markings burned brighter this time, almost like they were alive. It didn't hesitate. The first salvo came instantly, 2 beams of pure white light cutting through the nearest Zerath destroyers like they were paper. No shields could stop them. The alien ships exploded into bright, silent clouds. The human crews stared in disbelief. "It's here again!" "Is it on our side?" "It's destroying them. Look!" The Zerath fleet scrambled to react. They poured fire into the warship, but it didn't slow down. Its movements were impossible, shifting from target to target faster than human eyes could follow. One by one, the Zerath ships died. And then, as suddenly as it had come, the warship was gone, vanishing into the black before anyone could speak to it. Back on Earth, Admiral Carter listened to the reports from New Horizon. His face was pale. "This isn't random," he said quietly. "It's choosing its battles, watching us, testing us." He looked at the dark space beyond the viewing window. Somewhere out there, the warship was waiting, and he had a feeling that when it appeared next, the real war would begin. The second appearance of the mysterious warship changed everything. In just 2 battles, it had destroyed more Zerath ships than Earth's entire fleet could in a year. And yet, no one knew its name, its origin, or its purpose. Inside the underground conference chamber of Earth Command, the leaders of humanity gathered. Hollow screens floated above the round table, each showing different angles of the black and gold vessel as it fought at New Horizon. "This ship," said Admiral Carter, "has saved us twice, but it will not answer our calls. It will not stay, and we have no way of finding it." President Alara Vance leaned forward. Her voice was calm but tense. "So we don't know if it's an ally or a threat." The room fell into silence. The truth was uncomfortable. If the ship turned against them, humanity would be helpless. In the streets of Earth's cities, people were already giving it names. Some called it the Guardian. Others called it the Ghost of the Stars. Conspiracy channels claimed it was built by a secret branch of the Terran Navy. Religious groups declared it a sign from the heavens. But among military analysts, a darker theory began to spread. This was no new ship. It was something ancient, something that had been waiting, hidden, for longer than humanity had been in space. Meanwhile, far from Earth, deep in the asteroid belt of a dead system, something strange happened. A patrol ship, the Solar Spear, picked up a faint energy reading. The signal was unlike anything in their database, strong, steady, and strangely familiar. Captain Rhodes of the Solar Spear ordered the ship closer. "Lock scanners. Let's see what's out here." As they neared the largest asteroid, the signal grew stronger. The asteroid itself was hollow, massive tunnels bored through its core, and deep inside, buried under layers of rock and ice, they detected metal. Rhodes' crew sent a drone inside. The feed came back with images of strange markings glowing faintly on the walls, markings that matched those seen on the mysterious warship's hull. "Captain," a crewman whispered, "I think this place is connected to it." Before Rhodes could reply, The ship's sensors went wild. A sudden burst of energy surged from the asteroid, blinding their systems. The comms cut out. Lights flickered. When they came back online, the solar spear was alone. The drone was gone. The energy signature had vanished. Back on Earth, Admiral Carter received the report. He studied the images from the drone carefully, his eyes fixed on the golden symbols. "Get me a linguistics team," he ordered. "I want to know what this says." Within hours, experts in ancient languages and xeno-symbols filled the analysis lab. They argued over the patterns, compared them to ancient human writings, and cross-referenced alien archives. Finally, one of them, a quiet, older linguist named Dr. Helena Kale, spoke. "This isn't alien," she said. "It's older than that." "Older than alien?" Carter frowned. "What are you talking about?" Kale hesitated. "These symbols match carvings found on ruins on Mars, ruins that predate human history by tens of thousands of years. Whoever made that ship, if it is a ship, was here long before we were." The room went still. The implications were staggering. That night, Carter stood alone in the viewing deck of Earth Command, looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the warship was watching. He could feel it. And now he knew one thing for certain. It hadn't just come from nowhere. It had come back. 3 days after the solar spear vanished from the asteroid belt, Earth Command launched a larger, better-equipped mission. This time, they would not go unprepared. 5 ships, 2 heavy cruisers, 2 escorts, and a science vessel set out under strict orders. Find the source of the strange signal, recover any data, and return. Admiral Carter had handpicked the fleet's commander, Captain Rhys Vale, a calm and careful officer known for surviving missions no one else could. Rhys stood on the bridge of his cruiser, the Erebus, staring at the swirling void outside the viewports. The crew worked quietly. Even routine beeps from the consoles felt too loud. Everyone knew they were heading into something unknown. "ETA to asteroid field 1 hour, reported the navigator. "Keep all weapons hot," Rhys ordered. "Science, team. I want continuous scans, no blind spots." When the fleet reached the coordinates, the asteroid belt stretched before them like a frozen graveyard. Massive rocks drifted slowly, casting long shadows over each other. The largest asteroid was there, the same one from the solar spear's report. They approached cautiously. Scanners lit up with faint readings. Energy spikes deep inside the rock. "Signal matches the one from the missing patrol ship," the science officer said. "It's stable, but unusual." "How unusual?" Rhys asked. "It's not like any known reactor. The frequency is rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat." The science vessel launched drones into the tunnels. Their lights cut through the dark, revealing smooth metallic walls beneath the asteroid's rough surface. Golden markings glowed faintly, the same ones seen on the mysterious warship. Then the signal changed. The steady pulse became faster. The markings grew brighter. Rhys felt the hair on the back of his neck rise. "All ships, pull back." But before they could move, the darkness around the asteroid began to ripple. From the far side, a shadow emerged. At first it looked like another asteroid, until it moved. Smooth, deliberate, alive. It was the mysterious warship. Gasps filled the Erebus's bridge. "Sir, it's here!" "Decloaking event confirmed." The warship slid into view, black hull shimmering, golden symbols burning brighter than before. It didn't attack. It didn't signal. It simply moved past the human ships, heading straight for the asteroid. It hovered over the surface for several long seconds. Then, beams of white light shot from its underside, cutting into the rock. The asteroid cracked, breaking apart to reveal something hidden inside. A smaller ship buried for who knew how long. The smaller vessel's hull was almost identical to the larger warships, but damaged and cold. No lights, no power. The warship extended long mechanical arms and began pulling the smaller craft free. Once it had it, both ships vanished in the same impossible blink of motion. Gone before the humans could react. The asteroid field was silent again. The strange energy signal was gone. Reese clenched his fists. Track them. Every scanner we have. Find where they went. But there was nothing. No trace. Just empty space. When the fleet returned to Earth, Carter listened to Reese's report without interruption. At the end, he asked one question. Why do you think it took that smaller ship? Reese thought for a moment. Because it needed it. Or because it wanted to keep it from us. In a hidden chamber far from any human world, the mysterious warship floated in the void. Inside, the smaller craft was now lit with faint golden light, its systems slowly awakening. The masked commander stood watching it. One more piece of the chain, they murmured. Soon, the architects will come, and they will not find us unprepared. Weeks passed with no sign of the mysterious warship. Humanity waited in an uneasy silence. Fleets patrolled the borders, scanning for Zerath movements. Scientists studied every scrap of data from past encounters, hoping to understand the ship's technology. But the deeper they looked, the stranger it became. No human engine could match its speed. No known alloy could match the strength of its hull. And no known species, human or alien, wrote in the golden symbols carved into its skin. It was as if the ship didn't belong to this time. Then came the call for help. The mining colony of Brant's Reach, far from the core worlds, was under attack. The Zerath had struck fast, disabling the colony's defenses before reinforcements could arrive. By the time the distress signal reached Earth Command, the situation was already desperate. Admiral Carter had no choice. He dispatched the Erebus, Captain Reese Vale's ship, along with 2 escorts. They would have to hold until more ships could arrive. When the Erebus jumped into Brant's Reach, the sight was grim. The colony's orbital stations were in flames, debris spinning in the cold black. Zerath raiders darted between the wreckage, hunting the last surviving defense craft. Target the lead ship, Reese ordered. The Erebus's guns lit up, hammering a Zerath cruiser. One escort swung wide, drawing enemy fire away from the colony. But the humans were outnumbered. For every enemy ship destroyed, 2 more seemed to take its place. Shields. Failing, the tactical officer shouted. We can't hold much longer. And then, just as before, space rippled. It was like a shadow peeling away from the stars. The mysterious warship appeared, massive and silent, its black hull shimmering with golden light. Every Zerath ship froze for a moment, as if recognizing the threat. Then they turned their guns on it. The warship didn't slow. White energy beams flashed, cutting down the first 2 Zerath ships in seconds. The rest scattered, trying to break formation. The warship moved with impossible speed, striking from angles no human ship could match. In less than 4 minutes, the entire Zerath fleet was gone, destroyed or fleeing into the dark. Human crews watched in stunned silence. Cheers broke out over comms. Some called it a miracle. Others whispered the same name again and again. The Ghost. But just like before, the warship ignored every hail. It lingered for only a few seconds, as if making sure the colony was safe. Then its engines flared with that deep blue-gold light, and it vanished. Later, as repair crews worked to save Brant's Reach, Captain Reese stared at the stars where the warship had been. Why keep helping us? He murmured. And why never stay? No one had the answer. But across human space, the legend of the Ghost was growing. It had become a symbol of hope for some, of fear for others. And somewhere far away, in the silent black between galaxies, the Ghost's masked commander stood before a star map. Dozens of red marks glowed. Across it, Zerath strongholds, architect ruins, dead worlds. 3 appearances, the commander said quietly. "They will be ready soon. They must be." The Ghost had saved humanity 3 times now. But in the eyes of Earth Command, that made it both an ally and a problem. They were grateful, yes, but they were also uneasy. No ship that powerful should be allowed to move through human space without explanation. So, the decision was made. The Ghost would be tracked. Admiral Carter called Captain Rhys Vale into a private meeting. The room was dark, sealed from all comm systems. Only a single holographic display lit the space, showing images of the black and gold warship. "You've seen it up close, Rhys," Carter began. "You've seen how it fights. Now I'm ordering you to find out where it goes, and why." Rhys frowned. "You want me to follow it?" "Sir, nothing we have can keep up with that ship." Carter's expression didn't change. "That's why you'll be using our newest stealth fleet. Minimal energy signatures, cloaked drives. The moment it appears, you'll shadow it. No engagement, no hails. Just watch." A week later, the Erebus and 3 stealth frigates waited, in deep orbit over a barren moon. The crews were tense, every sensor tuned for even the smallest anomaly. Days passed. The Ghost did not appear. Then, on the 4th day, the alert sounded. A cloaking ripple shimmered at the edge of the system. The Ghost emerged from nothingness, gliding silently toward the outer rim. "Engage shadow protocol," Rhys ordered. The stealth ships slipped into formation, keeping maximum distance while trailing the target. For hours, they followed it through dead systems and empty space. It didn't slow. It didn't change course. Finally, the Ghost dropped into a strange star system, a dim red sun surrounded by the wreckage of ancient ships. Massive derelicts drifted silently, some the size of cities. Rhys stared at the view screen. "This isn't a Zerath graveyard. These ships are older, much older." The Ghost moved among the wrecks like it knew exactly where it was going. Then it stopped in front of what looked like the shattered hull of a gigantic space station. Long mechanical arms extended from its sides, scanning the ruins. After several minutes, it fired a focused beam into the debris, revealing a hidden structure deep inside. Rhys leaned forward. "Magnify!" The image sharpened. A massive door, covered in the same golden markings as the Ghost's hull. Slowly, the door began to open. A wave of strange energy surged outward, hitting the Erebus's shields. Shields. Holding, but barely, the tactical officer reported. Whatever that was, it wasn't a weapon. It felt like a signal. Then the Ghost moved again, disappearing into the opened structure. Rhys didn't hesitate. "Follow it." But before the stealth fleet could advance, every console went dark. Lights flickered. Engines failed. It was as if the system itself had been switched off. When power returned seconds later, the Ghost was gone. The structure's door was sealed again, as if nothing had happened. On the Erebus's bridge, Rhys sat back slowly. "It knew we were here," he said quietly. "It let us see. Just enough." Far from the system, the Ghost's masked commander stood on its bridge. "They followed us," said a voice from the shadows. 3 days after the failed pursuit, Captain Rhys Vale received a message that should have been impossible. It wasn't sent through Earth's comm network. It didn't come through any known frequency. It simply appeared on his command console, bright, clear, and carrying only 5 words. "Meet me, alone, Sector 9. There was no sender listed, no encryption signature, yet Rhys knew exactly who it was. He arrived in Sector 9 aboard a small scout craft. No escorts, no stealth systems. Just him, drifting in the quiet dark. For a long time, nothing happened. Then, like a shadow peeling away from the stars, the Ghost emerged. Its golden markings shimmered faintly, like fire under glass. Captain, Rhys Vale, a calm, deep voice said over his comms. You've been following me. Rhys swallowed. We had to know who you are, and why you're helping us. A pause. Then you will come aboard. The ghost extended a docking arm. Rhys's craft locked into place with a soundless jolt. The airlock hissed open, and a warm, strangely clean-smelling atmosphere poured in. He stepped inside. The interior was unlike any ship he had ever seen. Smooth metallic walls curved naturally, with no bolts or seams. Lights seemed to come from nowhere, casting a soft glow, and then he saw the figure waiting for him, tall, armored, face hidden by a featureless black visor. The voice came again, though the figure did not move. I am not your enemy. But you must understand, your war is only a small part of something much larger. Rhys narrowed his eyes. You fight the Zerath. That makes you our ally. The figure tilted its head slightly. Allies, for now. But if humanity survives, you must be prepared for what comes next. What comes next? Rhys asked. The visor turned toward a wide viewing window. Outside, distant stars glimmered. There are forces far older than your galaxy. The Zerath are children compared to them. My people fought those forces once. We lost. Rhys took a step closer. Then why help us? The figure finally turned to face him fully. Because you fight without fear. Because your kind still dares to resist even when defeat seems certain. And because... It reached up and tapped the golden marking on its chest. This was given to me by a human, a very long time ago. Before Rhys could speak, alarms flared. A holographic display lit up beside them, Zerath ships dropping out of warp. The figure looked at Rhys. Your pursuers have found us. If you want answers, you will fight beside me now. The floor vibrated as the ghost's weapons charged. For the first time, Rhys felt that he wasn't just following a mystery. He was now part of it. The first Zerath ship appeared as a dark silhouette against the stars, its sharp edges glowing with hostile energy. Behind it, 3 more emerged, forming a deadly wall between the ghost and the endless void. Captain Rhys Vale strapped himself into a seat near the ghost's central console. The mysterious armored figure stood in front of a floating display, fingers moving in precise, rapid motions. They will try to trap us, the figure said. We will not let them. The ghost surged forward with impossible speed. No rumble, no shaking, just pure, smooth acceleration that pressed Rhys into his seat. Green lances of Zerath energy fire streaked toward them, but instead of dodging wildly, the ghost seemed to slide between the beams, almost as if it knew where they would be before they were fired. Then, without warning, the ghost returned fire. Not with missiles, not with plasma. A burst of golden light erupted from its hull, splitting into dozens of thin, burning lines. They moved like living things, curling around enemy shields, slicing through armor as if it were paper. One Zerath. Cruiser exploded instantly. Another lost half its hull in a single strike. Rhys stared, unable to look away. That's not human technology, not even close. The armored figure didn't turn. It is older than your son. A sudden alarm shrieked. 2 more Zerath. Warships dropped out of warp, closing from the rear. They launched swarms of attack drones, thousands of them, each armed with miniature plasma cannons. The ghost didn't slow down. Instead, the figure tapped a new command, and the golden markings on the ship's surface began to move, literally shifting position across the hull like liquid metal. The markings expanded, forming a shimmering energy veil that wrapped the ghost completely. The drones opened fire, but every bolt of plasma simply vanished when it touched the golden field. Rhys couldn't help it. This ship, it's alive, isn't it? The figure finally looked at him, visor reflecting the golden light. In a way, it was not built. It was groan. Before Reese could process that, the ghost flipped on its axis with inhuman precision, golden beams shredding through the drone swarm in seconds. The last Zerath cruiser turned to flee, but the ghost was faster. One final beam sliced clean through the enemy's drive core. The explosion lit the void like a small sun. Silence returned to space. The only sound was Reese's breathing. The figure stepped closer. You've seen a fraction of its power. Now you understand why the Zerath fear it, and why others will come for it soon. Reese looked out at the glowing wreckage. He had come seeking answers, but he was leaving with more questions than ever. Still, one thing was clear. Humanity had just gained a weapon the galaxy would never forget. Far away from the battle site, the Galactic Council gathered inside the massive chamber of the core station. The room was built like a ring of stars, hundreds of alien representatives seated in shining rows, each one casting their voice through floating translator drones. The air was tense. Everyone had seen the same recordings, footage of the ghost, tearing through the Azarath fleet as if it were nothing. Some of the alien delegates refused to believe it. Others looked like they had seen a nightmare come alive. High Speaker Talvaris, an insectoid leader with glassy black eyes, slammed his claws on the desk. This is impossible. No single vessel has that kind of power. Even our war dreadnoughts could not move like that. A tall, silver-skinned envoy from the Vec Dominion leaned forward. It was no ordinary vessel. The energy signature, it matches nothing in our archives. It is ancient, older than the Council itself. Whispers filled the chamber. Some spoke in fear, others in envy. If the humans had such a weapon, the balance of the galaxy would shift overnight. And no one here wanted Earth, a young, unpredictable world, to hold that kind of advantage. Perhaps, "It is not their weapon," said a reptilian diplomat with scales like polished stone. "Perhaps they merely found it." "That makes them even more dangerous," Talvaris snapped. "If they could find one, they could find more." The High Counselor, a tall, robed figure with no visible face, finally raised a hand for silence. "Whether it is theirs or not does not matter. The humans are in possession of it now. The Zerath's defeat will make them bold. We must act before they understand its true power." The room went quiet. Every delegate knew what act meant. It meant sabotage. It meant secret missions. It meant taking the ghost, before humanity learned how to use it fully. In the shadows, at the back of the chamber, an envoy from a minor trade world spoke quietly to his aide. "Send word to our agents. We will pay any price for that ship." Another delegate, pretending to listen to the debate, was already sending an encrypted signal to unknown coordinates. And somewhere, far beyond the Council's reach, the ghost drifted silently through space, unaware that it had just become the most hunted vessel in the galaxy. Beyond the edge of human territory, the space between stars seemed calm, but hidden in that darkness, ships were moving, fast, silent, and deadly. They carried no flags, no identification codes. Their hulls were coated in light-absorbing armor, making them invisible to most scanners. These were Council shadowcraft, designed for one purpose: strike without warning and leave no trace. Inside one of these ships, a group of alien assassins prepared their weapons. They spoke little, their voices low and sharp, like knives cutting the air. "Orders are clear," the leader said. His skin was pale and almost transparent, his veins glowing faintly. "We find the ghost. We take it. If the humans resist, they disappear." Meanwhile, in Earth's orbit, Captain Hayes was aboard the ghost, running system checks. Ever since the battle with the Zerath, the ship had behaved strangely. Sometimes it seemed to react before the crew even gave commands, turning, shielding or firing a fraction of a second ahead of orders, almost like it's thinking, muttered Engineer Lara, watching strange patterns dance across the control screens. Hayes frowned. Or listening. In deep space, the shadow craft closed the distance. They had tracked the Ghost's unique energy signature. Their plan was simple: disable the ship, send in boarding teams, and vanish before Earth's fleet could respond. But there was a problem. The Ghost was not drifting blind. Far from any human station, its scanners pulsed faintly in the dark. Inside its alien core, something old and powerful stirred, detecting the hunters before the hunters even knew they were seen. At that same moment, somewhere inside the Ghost, a low hum began. The lights dimmed for a heartbeat, then returned, as if the ship had made a decision on its own. "Captain," Lara called, her voice tight. "The ship. It's changing course." Hayes looked at the nav screen. The Ghost was heading straight into a region of deep space known for swallowing ships whole, a place even the Council's assassins avoided. He didn't know why the Ghost was going there, but in the cold black outside, the hunters followed anyway. Fee. Ghost slipped deeper into the uncharted zone, its engines whisper quiet. Outside, space seemed darker than usual, as if the stars themselves were keeping their distance. The Council's shadow craft followed close, confident their stealth systems made them invisible. They didn't realize the Ghost was leading them, not running from them. Inside the ship, Captain Hayes watched the sensors. "No readings, no radio signals. It's like we're flying through a dead zone." Engineer Lara's hands trembled slightly as she studied the control panels. "Captain, the ship's navigation is locked. We can't turn back." Hayes's voice was low. "Then we trust it, for now." The deeper they went, the more strange things appeared outside. Faint shapes drifted in the black, huge broken fragments of ancient machines, some as large as cities. Their surfaces were scarred with the marks of battles fought long before humanity existed. One of the crew whispered, "This is a graveyard." Lara's eyes widened. "No, this is a battlefield that's still alive." The Ghost slowed to a halt, hanging silently among the wreckage. The shadow craft crept closer, weapons warming, ready to strike. And then it happened. From the darkness, lights flickered. Not from the Ghost, but from the debris around them. Massive alien constructs, hidden in the shadows, began to awaken. Their surfaces glowed with ancient runes, and their weapons, untouched for centuries, came to life. The assassins didn't have time to react. Beams of light, brighter than any star, tore through the void, slicing their ships apart one by one. Hayes gripped the armrest of his chair, his heart pounding. It's using the battlefield itself as a weapon." The Ghost drifted forward, weaving calmly through the chaos, untouched. It was as if the ancient machines recognized it as one of their own. Behind them, the last of the Council's hunters burned in silence, their remains swallowed by the endless dark. Lara whispered, almost afraid to speak, "Captain, this ship isn't just powerful. It's part of something much, much bigger." Hayes looked at her, and for the first time since the battle began, a chill ran down his spine. The battlefield faded into the distance as the Ghost glided away, its path set with quiet purpose. No one on board spoke for a long time. The crew was still shaken by the trap, by the destruction, and by the strange feeling that they hadn't been in control at all. Captain Hayes finally broke the silence. "Whatever this ship is, it just saved us. But it also made sure we saw that graveyard. It wanted us to see it." Engineer Lara nodded, her eyes still fixed on the flickering patterns running across the main console. "It's trying to tell us something, Captain. Look, these readings, they're not random." Suddenly, the ship's lights dimmed and every screen went dark. Then, one by one, glowing symbols appeared. Alien characters, ancient and complex. They began to shift and rearrange until they formed shapes the human mind could understand. Deep, resonant voice filled the bridge. It was neither male nor female, neither human nor alien. It was something older. "We are the first." The crew froze. The voice continued, echoing in their minds as much as in the air. "Long before your kind walked on soil, we fought the war you now face. The enemy does not stop. The Council fears them but does not understand them. Your species will be tested." Hayes gripped the console. "Tested? For what?" The voice did not answer directly. Instead, the stars outside seemed to shift, rearranging themselves into a map. The map showed not only Earth and its colonies, but thousands of points across the galaxy, most of them burning red. "These are the worlds they have taken," the voice said. "These are the worlds that remain." A final golden point appeared. "Earth. You will not fight alone, but the price of survival will be high." The symbols faded, the voice gone. The ghost systems returned to normal as if nothing had happened. Lara whispered, "Captain, what do we do now?" Hayes stared at the golden dot on the star map. His voice was steady, but the weight of the moment pressed on every word. "We prepare. Whatever's coming, we make sure humanity is ready. Because if we fail..." He didn't finish. He didn't have to. Outside the ship, the stars burned quietly, hiding the war that was already on its way. And deep in the ghost's alien core, something pulsed, watching, waiting, remembering.